Hi, this is Gurasi Singh, and you're listening to my Thick Accent podcast. So, job search can be a daunting task for anyone, but it can be even more challenging for immigrants. Moving to a new country brings its own set of challenges, including culture differences, language barriers, and a lack of professional network. For many immigrants, finding a job is not just about securing financial stability, but also about integrating into a new community and building a sense of belonging. However, in 2023, there are resources and support available for immigrants to navigate these obstacles and find employment that aligns with their skills and aspirations. And my guest today is here to share insights and expertise on how he overcame the challenges of job search. He moved to Canada in 2018 as an international student to study at George Brown College. Later, he became the Director of Communications of the Student Association of George Brown College, and 5 years later, he's a professor at Centennial College. Along with that, he's the Chief Technology Officer at Orbit 5, where he instilled in students that job search is not daunting, writing resume is not tedious, and networking or job interviews are not intimidating at all. Let's learn more from him about the values in your job search he can add and how you embrace the experiences he already had. Please welcome Urvish Patel.
Hi Gurasis, thank you so much for amazing introduction. I'm so excited to be here to be one of your guests today. Yeah, let's help international students to land their desired job because most of them they are struggling, right? To get an interview, and these processes, as you mentioned, it should not be a tedious resume writing. It's a process of like self discovery, right?
Yeah.
Like you identify a lot of things about yourself, and these things are like very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So before we dive deeper into that, Urvish, I want to start by asking you that is there any one habit that you adopted that has changed your life?
So one habit that I adopted is writing.
Hmm.
I was not at all good in writing before, even like in my English exams,
Hmm.
I used to fail all the time.
Really?
Yes, and even IELTS exam,
Hmm.
right? I had like 4 attempts just because of writing, because I was getting really good bands in my speaking, listening, reading, but not in writing. So I had like 4 attempts. The day I met David, my business partner,
Hmm.
he started like pushing my boundaries. He's like, Urvish, can you write this? And I was not able to write like a single email without a typo. And he's like, Urvish, just try it, right? Like, and I started write some articles. Just first process was like put my thoughts together.
Hmm.
I started like putting my thoughts together. Then David used to like proofread it and then help me to like revamped whole article. And
Hmm.
what I used to do, I used to just compare like my writing and then end result, and try to identify, right, like what David changed, how he turned
Hmm.
this article into like really turn my thoughts into like really amazing articles. And day by day I try to like
Hmm.
improve those things in my article, and here I am.
Hmm. Absolutely. I think looking at your social media, the posts that you create and all the content, I mean, I as a viewer of that, and who do consume your content, I could never imagine that you would say that you were not that good with writing.
Writing and being good in the language, it's two different things, right? Like I'm a native Gujarati Hindi speaker,
Yeah.
but I cannot write the properly, because the copywriting, it's a skill, and this skill
Yeah.
I would say it's most important skill for all international students to have, because you never know, right, like who's
Hmm.
gonna read your post on LinkedIn. I recently like submit like post one of my students resume on my LinkedIn, and
Hmm.
that girl, she received 8 interviews. within that week, just because of that resume from eight recruiters call.
Hmm.
And she one of them, it got clicked,
Hmm.
and she is now making like six figure salary.
Wow.
So this is like most important skill for anyone to build their personal brand.
So you did mention Gujarat. So let me take you back to the time you spent in Gujarat, which is a state, or how people call it, province, in the western coast of India, Gujarat. So tell us a little bit about your time you spent there, about your childhood, or also, what were you doing before you moved?
So my childhood was not great. I had a lot of ups and downs in my
Mm-hmm.
life. When I was a kid, I was in fourth grade. My mom and dad, they got separated, and I recently like posted about this on my LinkedIn that my dad was one of the big head of the city, and one of the richest family in my city, right? And my mom, she uh, they just got separated. My mom took like nothing, right? She didn't even bother to take like clothes, right, from
Mm-hmm.
from the house. It was just like, okay, we are leaving. And it was like a life was like upside down, right, because of that. Because it was like, now from yesterday I had like everything. I used to like get breakfast on in my bed, and
Yeah.
from next day we don't have money to buy milk. It was like a lot of struggle. There was some time I used to wake up at 7 o'clock, and my mom was already at work at that time.
Hmm.
And in the evening after my school, whenever I come home, my mom was still at work, and so I wasn't able to see her face for like entire week.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like that terrible time, but day by day we survived somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And but so in my 10th grade, my mom went to United Kingdom
Mm-hmm.
uh, to just upgrade herself and make some money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for like 3 years, we got separated. I was focusing on my 12th exam, and then uh, she came back after my 12th,
Mm-hmm.
and I left for my engineering exam, engineering college. So, and once I was done with my degree, I came here. So now I haven't seen her. I haven't spent like a quality time with my mom since 2009.
It's been like a more than a decade, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when she went to UK, whom were you staying with? You were young at that time, right?
Yeah. I used to stay at my Nani Nanu's
Okay.
place for a while, so for 3 years, and then after I left for like boarding school.
Okay. So how would you say, Urvish, maybe that time, or maybe that hard time, maybe that transition, being having everything one day and not having anything the next day, what has actually that taught you, or is there any way that learning you kind of even apply to your days, to your the time that you're spending today?
So one thing I understand, right? Money, success, everything,
Hmm.
right? Everything is temporary. No one stays there for for their whole life. The only thing will take you
Hmm.
and help you to survive from this bad time. It's your knowledge.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I started reading. I started like developing my skills,
Hmm.
right? I started uh, 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 trying giving my best
Hmm.
to what I do right now, whether it is programming or whether it is like career coaching, because the skills you're gonna develop, it's gonna help you to survive from these bad times. For example, for my mom, she was running a whole factory, right? Like she was helping my dad to run a
Hmm.
whole factory, and because the skills she developed, she was able to land a good job, right? Like
Yeah.
it was not great job, right? It was like 3,000 rupees, which is not even $100,
Oh,
but at least we were able to survive at that time,
mhm,
right? And after that, from 3,000 she landed another job, right? Like 6,000, 7,000, and then
mhm.
20, 25,000 rupees, right? But
Yeah.
still, those skills, because she didn't had like any education, right? Like prior education, she just had 12th grade. So but skills are most important to have it, to get succeed in anyone's life.
Yeah, you said it correctly. Money can come and go, but your knowledge, your skills stays with you until your last breath. And one should focus on that, especially I would say in their earlier years of their life. They should focus more on acquiring those skills and knowledge rather than running after money. 100%. So, Urvish, you would also, I read somewhere you are a cricket aficionado, right? So, did you used to play, or did you like got into it any far, or do you still play?
I used to play for a college team.
Okay.
And also, like in India, I'm not sure about Punjab or Delhi, but in Gujarat we have this night tournaments where where all the players they go and play cricket in the night. It's like a same like IPL.
Yeah,
And
I'm aware. Yeah.
we had like some sponsors, right? So they used to pay
Hmm.
players, right? So I used to like one of those paid players
Hmm.
at that time. And now I haven't touched my bat since like 6 years. I'm so eager for this summer, because I met like some friends, they play cricket over here, so they're like, Urvish, let's play together this summer.
So why, Urvish, engineering? Why did you get interested in that? I remember maybe like a decade ago, like few years ago, I do know that everybody was kind of doing engineering, and I was also at some point pushed to do the same, but I chose not to. Tell me about your story.
So in India, you don't have much choice. If you're born in Indian
Yeah.
family, either you can become an engineer or a
Yeah.
doctor. But that was not a case for me. My mom was always so supportive. So I really loved programming. My cousin brother, he was a computer engineer, and when I was in seventh grade, he was about to finish his engineering. He was working on his final year project,
Hmm.
and in my vacation, I went to his place, and he was coding. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm coding." I was like, "What is coding?" And then he's
Yeah.
like, let me just show you. So he was like doing something, writing some lines, and that effect on the whole screen of the computer. And I was like, wow, this is so amazing.
Mm.
Can you teach me? He's like, yeah, sure, I can teach you. Right, for now I'm busy, just like sit here and see, right, like what I'm doing. And I used to like sit with him like this, without understanding of any object
Mm.
oriented programming or if else loop, just to see it, right, like what is happening on the screen.
Yeah.
So I sat there like for 3 4 days, and
Mhm.
then he was like, this is the book Ibala Guru Swami
Mhm.
for C language.
Mhm.
Just try and read it. And then I was like reading everything, and in a week, like I finished like whole book.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm done with this book. And he was like, okay, now you are ready. Let me just give you one problem and try to solve it, right? Like with this knowledge, and you can take references as well.
Mhm.
And then that's how like I introduced to the programming. And after that, I was very interested. I was developing an application. My first application was in my 10th grade.
Okay.
When I graduate, I my path was pretty clear. I
Mhm.
want to become a software engineer. So let's either I can do BCA, which is Bachelor of
So
Computer
yeah.
Application, or either I can do BE. But fortunately, I got admission in BE, and yeah.
Okay. Did you work anywhere before moving to Canada or no?
I worked for this company. It's called Pfall Soft. It was also a startup when I was in my uh, third year.
Mhm. Okay.
Uh, After that, I was working for CompuBrain, which is like one of the good companies in Gujarat, right? We because they are now like big head in software engineering and digital marketing.
Mhm.
Um, and after that, like I used to work for like my like dean of our school. He also had a company, so yeah, I had like pretty good like experience before I came here.
Mhm.
But if you consider like after graduating experience,
Mhm.
I just have like 9 months of experience.
Okay. Okay, 9 months is still not too bad. Having some sort of skill set within the real environment is always beneficial, right? So
Yeah.
what influenced the decision to move then? And also tell me about the process. How was the process for you like? I'm asking this because for some people it does take like a couple of months, and for some people it take years. Maybe I hope not decades, but yeah, tell me about your experience.
My experience was a roller coaster ride.
Mm,
First, like my grandmother was here in Canada. She was living with my uncle once my dad passed away.
okay.
So she was like keep pushing me, right? Like Urvish, come here, everything will be fine, and you'll be doing great. We are here to support you. And I was like, yeah, but what about my mom, right? Like
Hmm.
she's gonna be there alone, and then I was having like deep conversation with my mom, and my mom wanted me to like come here, but I was like, no, like I don't want to take you leave you alone over here. And then my mom was like, yeah, but after a while I can come there to see you, and like
Hmm.
maybe we all can like uh, immigrate there, right? Like together we
Hmm.
can all live there, because now it's just you and me, right? So I was like, yeah, sure. So I was like, let's give a shot. Let me go there for a couple of years, see how everything goes. If it didn't go well, I'll go back.
Hmm.
But now, the day like I came here, in 15 days, I decided, right, I don't want to go back ever again. And I never. It's been like 6 years. I never like
Mm.
left this country, not for even a single day. And about my journey, so I was not a great student in my engineering. I was a really good programmer, really good software engineer, but I was not good at mugging up things.
Mm.
So I failed like 33 subjects out of 40 in my engineering.
Mhm.
So when I was doing my student visa application, all of these education agents, they were like, no, will not gonna help you. Will not gonna take your file, because it's gonna affect on a ratio, because
Hmm.
you'll for sure you're not gonna get admission or not even a visa.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, and I got so disappointed. And then I me and my uncle decided to take like things in our hands.
Mhm.
So what we did, we analyzed like 5 colleges across in GTA, and start doing applications by ourselves.
Mhm.
After that, once we applied, we started like sending an email to chair and coordinator of the departments,
Okay.
because these people, they have like a lot of say
Mhm.
uh, for enrollment, right? It's like it's shame, but it's same like job market, right? Like they know that, right? Like
Yeah.
who they want to work with, or over there.
Mhm.
So I started like sending an email to each and every coordinator and chair of the department, and tell them that, right, like, hey, my grades were not good, but because of this circumstances, but like, I'm really good programmer. This is my portfolio on GitHub. This is my resume. This is what I achieved over here. And if I get a second chance, I'll do my best to not disappointing you.
Mm.
And one of these coordinator, Maziar, he replied from George Brown College that, like, Urvish, I understand I was going through from the same thing in my bachelor's, and I can totally relate your story. So let's chat
And that was all LinkedIn or via email?
via email. So he
Email.
was
Okay.
like, let's chat. We had like 30 minutes Zoom meeting
Hmm.
while I was in India. and he asked me some questions related to my profile, and then he was like, Urvish, this is the advanced diploma course. Why do you want to, you have a bachelor's degree, why do you want to do the advanced diploma?
Mhm.
So I told him that, like, in my degree, I as you saw, right, I have a lot of I feel like a lot of subjects.
Hmm.
So I just want to redo it, and this time I want to do it properly. And
Hmm.
he got impressed with all of this conversation, and he's like, yeah, I'll help you to get admission in this program. In 2 days I had my LOA, letter of
Acceptance, yeah.
acceptance
Yeah.
from college. One thing, I had it right. I had later from college, but now I need to do it my visa
Visa,
process.
yeah.
So same thing, right? Because we didn't had any education agent, so me and my uncle used to like spend a lot of time on researching how to do this process, what we should like do it. We used to read a lot of test cases, right, from use cases from before as well, right, where students they had like 10, 12 failed subject, but no, we never found anyone failing like 33 subjects
Mhm.
in their engineering and wanted to like go out.
Yeah.
So we just like took it on uh, we just decided, right, like, let's do it. If we get it, then we get it. If we want, we'll try it, or we'll find some another way. Fortunately, I got my visa within like 20 days.
It's such an intriguing story for me, Urvish. Like you said, where you failed these subjects and the agent said you cannot go, and you reach out to somebody directly here. And this is like the true example of where there is a will, there is a way. And I hope, like, if anybody who is still in India or any part of the world kind of still questioning their, the past, or how it's say, questioning their destiny, what have happened, but now it's, you have the free will to change it, so change it. This is the true example for, so thank you for sharing that, Urvish.
And also, I'm a big believer of Bhagavad Gita.
Mm,
I have that book on my desk, right? Like, I
mhm.
read one chapter every day before I go to sleep. So I we decided, right? Like, okay, let's do our thing. If they want to give us visa, it's in their hands,
Yeah.
not in our hand. And it's same thing with job search, right?
Yeah.
You do your application, you try your best. If you got selected,
Yeah.
that's good. If you want, there are plenty of jobs in the market,
Yeah.
right? It's same as dating. There are plenty of fishes in the pond.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do your best, make your application the best, make your profile the best, do your 100% best. And what's in your control is applying, following all the rules, everything that is asked on the website. That's in your control. What's not in your control is when the reply is going to come back, when the visa is going to come back. That's not in your control. So do the
Yeah.
best that you can in that particular situation. Yeah. So you landed in 2018 to do the advanced diploma in computer programming. So tell us about your first day. What was going on in your mind?
So before my first day,
Hmm.
let me just tell you,
Hmm.
I went for the orientation,
Okay.
right? And in orientation, I met couple of people wearing like careers jersey, right?
Okay.
Like ask us about careers, and I was
Hmm.
like, ask you about careers, this guy, you look like me, right? Like, what should I ask you? And then I went there and I was like, hey, what's your name? And this guy's name was Abhi, and he was like, hey, my name is Abhi. I'm from I was like, are you from India? He's like, yeah, I'm from India, I'm from Delhi. I was like, oh, good, I'm from Ahmedabad and
Hmm.
whatever, right? And then I was like, you like, are you doing volunteering? He's like, no, I'm not doing volunteering, I'm getting paid for this thing. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, okay. And I was like, tell me more about it. Right. And then he's like, like, colleges, they have uh, different department where they hire students just to give them some exposure
Hmm.
of real world.
Hmm.
And I was like one of those students working for career services, helping people to land good jobs.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, so how will you help me?
Hmm.
Because I also need a job.
Yeah.
And he's like, look, we help you to like build, create your resume and everything, right? And I was like, okay, okay. And then like what I that conversation, right? Like it triggered me. I was like, hey, I wanted to do this job.
Mm.
So I was like, how? Let me just ask this guy again next time, not right now because it's orientation.
Yeah.
After that, I focused on like all the information about colleges, about essay, about different department in the orientation. I went home. I asked my cousin sister, hey, do you have any good resume samples that I can use?
Hmm.
And she was like, yeah, this is my sample, this is my resume, right? It was not great resume, but yeah, it was okay. Next time when I met this guy, I didn't mention anything about job.
Hmm.
I didn't mention anything about like what he does over
Yeah.
there. I just like started talking about like different random things just to build a connection over there. So I have like someone who can vouch for me when they are hiring.
Yeah.
And in like within like 2 or 3 months, we became like really good friends. Even like we used to go out for drinks as well after school.
Mm.
The moment they start hiring, Abhi, like he called me. He's like, come tomorrow to my office. I'll just directly like introduce you to my boss.
Mm.
I went there and I was like so excited, right?
Yeah.
Because it was dream become true.
Absolutely.
And in that excitement, in my resume, I forgot to add education section. I went there. I met with this lady Andrea. She's now she's my really good friend, my mentor, and everything. She also works for FTM Group as a recruiter now.
Hmm.
I met this lady Andrea, and I was like, "Hi, Andrea, how are you?" And Abhi introduced me and everything. I was like, "I'm so interested about this position because of this, and this."
Mm.
That's it. And she's like, did you fill out the application? I was like, no, I haven't. She's like, this take this tablet and fill out the application and give me your resume.
Mm.
I gave her my resume without
Education
education.
section. Yeah.
I filled out the application. I went outside. I was sitting in the library. Okay, I'm gonna get this job. I'm gonna get this job. I'm gonna get an interview. And then I was just looking at my resume. And I was
Mm.
like, oh shit! I forgot to add my education over here.
Yeah.
I was so angry on myself.
Hmm.
After that, I was like, okay, whatever happened,
Happens.
happened.
Yeah.
Now I don't want. I cannot change it. What I can do next, whatever gonna happen next, it's in my hand.
Yeah.
So I knew it, right? Like they're gonna take like couple of weeks just to like get all the application and
Review
everything.
them. Yeah.
So what I did, I went to career services each and every day, started talking with this lady Andrea, and like helping students, right? Like for example, over there, if someone asks us like, hey, where is student services? Oh, I'm just going that way, let me just help you.
Hmm. Okay.
And she saw everything. She started noticing everything, that like how I help students, how I provide them customer service without even getting paid. She gave me an interview,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, now
Finally.
I cannot
Yeah.
fluke this. I need to prepare properly. And she asked me to prepare a presentation on like any of the soft skill that are my favorite soft skill. And I created a presentation on communication skills. So what I did in my presentation, still again, right, like thinking outside the box. On my first slide, communication skills. Next slides, picture of Bill Gates
Hmm.
and a janitor.
Hmm.
And the line is, what is one common thing in these two people?
Hmm. Interesting.
And I asked them. And they're like, not sure, right? Like, not sure what because it's a Bill Gates, and another one is janitor, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying this job is bad or anything, but I was just comparing, right? Like Bill Gates and a regular person, I was like, they both require excellent communication skills. And
Absolutely.
everyone was laughing, and I was like, yeah, okay, now I won them over in my first slide.
Yeah.
I did like my best. I answered like some questions. It was a group interview as well,
Hmm.
so they asked us to do some one task in task. And what I did, everyone was like looking at each other. I was like, okay, let me just take a lead. Let's do like this.
Hmm.
And they noticed everything, right? And in couple of days, I received an email that like I got hired from by career
Hmm.
services, and I was so happy.
Hmm.
That was the best job of my life. I worked with them like for 2 years. Meanwhile, I created my network in school as well, outside school as well. I became board member and then president of the student association as well
Yeah.
in those like 2 years.
In that presentation, did you also add a slide of your education or not? No.
No.
Okay. Whenever I speak with my teachers, professors with whom I'm still in connect with, back home from India, they always ask me about the differences that I saw in terms of teaching and learning. And I would like to ask you the same question. What differences did you see in terms of learning and teaching?
So as I mentioned in my engineering, I used to mug up like 500, 600 page of the book like by
Yeah.
heart, right? Over here, the education culture, it's not like that, at least not in programming. We most of in even like my subject, currently I'm teaching software engineering and testing, which is like most a theoretical subject,
Hmm.
but more than 58% of the work, it's practical based assignments, right? Like they had to like perform some stuff,
Yeah.
to give them like best hands-on experience, right? Like as close to the industry. And I try to mimic my assignments as per industry standards, so students, they should have something to write in their resumes. So
Hmm.
that's one thing. Another thing is like over here, education, it's not a burden, right? Like
Hmm.
because of course you have tight deadline and everything, but industry also does have those things.
Absolutely.
So it's and these colleges, right, they try to mimic everything from industry,
Hmm.
so you get the best experience and exposure, right, as close to the industry. And that's why most of the entry level jobs, they have 2 to 3 years of experience, because your educational experience, it also counts as your experience.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we still didn't hear about your first day. Tell us about that.
First day of my class, I went there. I see that, right? Like, okay, there are few Indian students from there are a few people looks like me. So I was like, and there everyone
Hmm.
else was from like they're Latino, Chinese, Canadian, because that's the beauty of George
Hmm.
Brown, right? Like, because we have a lot of diversity. So I
Yeah.
was like, should I go there? I was like, nah, I spent like 22 years of my life with my people. Let me just go and like explore a little bit.
Yeah.
Went to like, I went to sit with like this white guy,
Hmm.
Daniel. And he's like, I was like, hey, Jude, what's up? And he's like, nothing much, man. He was like, in the class, he was like this and wearing the glasses. I was
Hmm.
like, why you are wearing glasses in the class, man? And we started like talking. And then there was another guy, Milan. He saw me that like I just went to like sit with like this white guy,
Hmm.
and he's like, okay, let me just go there. I think like I think like these guys are cool, right? Like cool. So he also came and sat right next to me,
Hmm.
and we become like really big. We become like brothers. Me,
Hmm.
Daniel and Milan, we become like brothers out of no time. Then my professors came, had some lectures, but I made sure after each lecture, I went to say hi to my professor, because it is very important for any international student,
Yeah.
talk to your professor, right? Explain what are your goals and what is your expectation from this particular course. I'm not saying like whole program, about that particular course. So I had like those conversation at my first day with all of my professors,
Hmm.
so they know me, they keep me in their mind.
Yeah.
And after that, like once in a while, after bi-weekly, just do your regular check-in
Hmm.
with the professors, because your professors are industry leaders.
Yeah.
They know like they have like huge network, right? Just imagine how many right now I have 100 students in my class,
Hmm.
right? And I'm a new professor, it's my first term. So these professors are teaching in the industry since 15-20 years.
Hmm.
So they have like more than like 1500 2000 students in their class.
Hmm.
They know like a lot of people, and some of them they can be hiring managers right now,
Hmm.
so they can connect you with these people. And around or after your midterms, right, once you build that rapport and everything, you can ask your professor, you know my goals, you know like what I delivered here, you have seen quality of assignments I did it here,
Yeah.
and you have seen like extra work that I put it on top of like these assignments in
Hmm.
your subject. So please tell me like few names from your previous students whom I can connect and have some insights about their job to help me to succeed in my job search
Hmm.
or my career. So usually like once you had like this rapport with your professors, they're gonna say, okay, connect with XYZ people. Now your work is really easy because your professor is vouching for you.
Yeah.
So you just like tell this person, hey, XYZ Zaid, I got referred by like this professor to have a conversation with you. I'm also like so inspired with your career trajectory. If you give me like 10 or 15 minutes your time, that would be like really appreciated. Many thanks, Urvish. That's it. Don't ask
Hmm.
a job diet. Let's wait, like most probably this person is gonna send like because you are referred by this professor, so most probably this person is like, yeah, okay, sure, like let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
In that conversation, just ask him about like his journey, what he did, what skills you need to develop, tell him that like what you are doing, right? And like we created this method for job search. It's called Shark Tank way,
Hmm.
and we use like this method with all of our clients, and got like this success ratio, right, of uh, landing job within like 15 weeks of place with like 95% of our
Hmm.
students. So what we do, analyze their profile, identify few skills that this guy is using in the industry on daily basis, research those skills, those technologies, and create a presentation.
Hmm.
Say Bill Gates and janitor.
Yeah.
So everything is related.
Yeah.
uh,
So
yeah.
I would really like to like unfold more about, this land a job in 15 weeks. Before we talk more about that, I also want to ask you about your role at Centennial College as a professor. Tell us about that role and how did you land that role?
Uh, Same old school networking.
Hmm.
So I had this professor as a Dibaj, Reza Dibaj,
Hmm.
and I was one of that student who never show up in his class,
Hmm.
because I knew like his subjects inside out. He used to teach us Python, and Python was something that I started coding since 2012.
Hmm.
So I knew it like inside out. I'm not saying like I'm better than him, but like yeah, I know like my things.
Yeah.
So in one day, like I show up in because it was a class assignment, in class assignment in his labs. And I was like, professor, and it was like 2 hours assignment for everyone. Professor, please give me the assignment, right? And he and then like I started like coding. I finished everything within like 13 14 minutes. And he's like, are you sure you finished this in the class? I was like, yeah. He's like, if you do you mind if I ask a couple of questions, because this is like 2 hours assignment. I was like, sure.
Hmm.
You can ask me some questions. And then he went through my code and he's like, why you wrote this? I was like, because of this. He's like, what if like I write something like this,
Hmm.
right? What's gonna happen? Because he wanted to like taste, right, like if it is a copy or
Yeah.
like I actually did it. So I told him, right, like if we used if we do this, the output should be like this, right?
Mhm.
And he's like, are you sure? I was like, do you want me to compile? And he's like, no, that's the correct output. And he's like, very good, very good. And after that, like, he knew me, right?
Mm.
Like, he knew me. He created this Telegram group, and we I joined the group. We had like some more conversation. I was going from my elections as well, so I asked him if I can promote myself in the groups, and he's like, yeah, sure,
Mhm.
go ahead. I cannot say that vote for Urvish, but
Yeah.
go ahead. So I created really good rapport and relationship with this guy. I mentioned about my friend Milan. So he was failing his subjects because he was going through like some really bad time. His mental health was not top notch, so he missed like some assignments, and it was like our last semester as well. So I texted, and he was like crying. He's like, "Urvish, I don't have money for pay for like next semester. I really want to graduate. What should I do?" I was like, "Look, let me just talk to this professor for on behalf of you." I texted him. I was like, hey professor, can we please have a quick call?" At middle of the night, he texted me back around like 12:30, 1 o'clock. Sure, call me if you are available.
Okay.
And I called him. I was like, "Look, professor, I understand this guy Milan. Um, he didn't perform well, but if you see like his previous grades, he's not a bad student.
Hmm.
He's just going from some things." And I think like you can literally relate, because you are also an immigrant here,
Hmm.
and we have like a lot of things in our plate and time management. I know, right? Like he should be like good in time management,
Mhm.
but uh, I would really appreciate if you just give him like another chance to resubmit all of this assignment. And he's like, Urvish, because of your word, I'm giving like 7 more days to submit these 3 assignments,
Love
which
that.
worth of like 45% of
Hmm.
entire course. I was like, sure, thank you so much. That really appreciate. Once I graduate, now and then I used to talk to like this professor, because he became like one of my mentors as well, right? One of my really good friend as well.
Yeah.
So now and then I used to like share like all the great news whenever like we have like good webinars. I used to share those things with uh, this professor. And in one webinar he joined, it was on resumes, and he joined the webinar, and he saw me like how I facilitate my stuff.
Hmm.
And and also I was a tutor in George Brown, but not in his class, so he
Mhm.
knew it, right? Like I like teaching. So he saw me, right, facilitating all of this stuff. And when after that, like we had like phone call going on, and I just casually mentioned that, like, I also wanted to like get like teaching opportunity, but I don't have masters.
Hmm.
He's like, you don't need a masters to become a professor. Your work experience is like better, makes you better than a candidate on who has PhD.
Hmm.
I was like, sure. He's like,
Interesting.
yeah. He's like, just create your resume, and just share it with me.
Hmm.
So I created my resume. I shared it with him. He suggested me a couple of things to change as per like academic resumes. I did that, uh, and then he's like, this is the email of the person who is hiring for Centennial College. Just shoot an email, CC me, let them know that you have been referred by me. I did the same thing. In That person replied just like next day, that like, hey, for sure we'll have conversation. Please remind me like next month, because next month we're gonna start hiring
Hmm.
us and assigning subjects. So Next month I sent him an email that like, hey, Dr. Nika, is this the right time for to start like my hiring process? And he's like, yeah, sure, let's meet like this week
Hmm.
for quick chat. We just had chat for like 5 minutes. He asked me like why you want to join Centennial College, what you bring on the table,
Hmm.
and what is one thing that you advise your students.
Hmm.
So I forgot like my answers right now, but told him, right, like I wanted to join Sentinel because my I'm from teachers family.
Hmm.
My grandfather, he wa- he was a trustee in the school. So
Okay.
that's teaching is my passion, because I saw people, they come to like my house every day to learn something,
Hmm.
right? And we had like that tuition classes as well. So
It's in your blood.
uh, yeah, it's in my blood. So
Yeah.
that's why like I wanted to be a teacher. Centennial College, because it's one of the reputed college in the whole country.
Hmm.
And plus what I bring on the table, I bring fresh industry perspective
Mhm.
and also international perspective,
Yeah.
because I still work for the industry, and I also have overseas experience as well. And with the for the advice, I told them, right, like I'm gonna tell my student on my first class, don't come to my class for grades, because you all gonna pass my subject.
Hmm.
I'm not that kind of professor who's gonna fail anyone.
Yeah.
If you just like do it like half of the work, you're gonna pass it. Then he's like, why they should come to your class? I was like, to learn something new.
Hmm.
And he got impressed with the answer. And he's like, next, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna arrange a another interview. He's like, it's not gonna be an interview, it's just gonna be like a formal conversation with the chair. Never happened. He
Hmm.
just assigned me subjects. He talked to professor, our chair, that like, hey, I met like this fine young man, and he was very excited to join our team, and he has industrial experience as well. And why don't you just like meet him? And the chair was like, no, that's fine, I don't need to meet him. All the things that you said, plus he had like pretty good reference.
Hmm.
So there is no point I meet him, right? Like, let's just assign subjects.
Hmm.
And then they assigned like my first course load for the semester.
Wow, that's such an incredible story, so inspiring, and I am sure, Urvish, this is gonna inspire a lot of national students. And this is like the again another example. If he can do it, you can do it that as well. Just have to find the right ways to do it. Tell me another
Yep.
thing, Urvish. Have you seen a mindset shift in the students since you teach them right now? Like from 5 years ago when you came to Canada, and from your classmates to your students now. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's all depend on the uh, company that you choose to hang out with,
Hmm.
right? Like I have some classmates who are still working on who has the same mindset and who are still working on the survival jobs, and in that vicious circle of knock B just to get their PR.
Yeah.
And some of my classmates, they are doing really well. For example, Milan, he's 21 years old, but he is one of the senior software developers at CIBC,
Hmm.
not the junior one, senior software engineers.
Hmm.
This guy needs like two promotions just to become a director now,
Hmm.
right? Another and another classmate, I just don't want to really reveal his name,
Hmm.
but he was working for Boston Pizza
Hmm.
when we were in school, and he's still working for Boston Pizza just as a supervisor position.
Hmm. Okay.
So this is what I tell my student in my class, that like your survival job, it's a temporary. Of course, it's a great way to build skills,
Yeah.
because I learned a lot in my survival jobs.
Hmm.
It's a great way to build skills, but it's a temporary thing. All you need to do is focusing on yourself. Your survival job, it's not your priority. Your priority is create build your career. And some of them, they understand, some of them they're like, no, like this guy is just like saying it's his work. And I was like, yeah, okay, I cannot help them. It's their choice.
Mhm.
But some of them, they took these things seriously
Mm.
and started using LinkedIn. They come like each and every week after my class, and like tell me like about their whole interaction with the industry leaders throughout the week, and ask for guidance, right? Like what they should do next.
Mm.
But and some of them, they are like still like, okay, yeah, I'm not we're not gonna do anything. We should just we don't have time, and that's the excuse, right? And the funny thing is, everyone has like all the time in the world,
Yeah.
right? It just depend on your priorities. If that thing is your priority, you will find a time. Doesn't matter if it is 12 a.m in the night, but you're gonna find a time.
So let's just talk about Orbit 5 now, where you are helping students overcome their challenges and aim for roles that do justice to their talent and skill set. Tell us about your role as a CTO there and what all we can expect in your program, which is called, Land a Job in 15 Weeks. Tell us all about that.
So I'm a CTO
Mhm.
over there. Basically, we are developing some solutions, right? And mostly around in August. Uh, of course, we're gonna get an invite for a launching party, but
Mhm.
let's not take it there, because CTA. Apart from my CTA role, I do a lot of coaching as well.
Mhm.
So we started with this program, Job Search Academy,
Mhm.
where like we help students to land their dream job within like 15 weeks or less.
Mhm.
And in our first cohort, we had like three students, and all of them, they landed a role before like 7 weeks.
Hmm. Wow.
After that, we had I think four students, and they landed a role within like 5 weeks.
Hmm.
And then the third cohort, uh, this is the only cohort like we had students throughout like whole 15 weeks, right? But most of them, they landed a role, right? But it was, I would say, right, it was we started this cohort in December,
Hmm.
so timing, it was not great.
Mhm.
But we still have like 95% of the students who land a role within 15 weeks.
Wow.
And it's not like a jobs, it's like 6 figure jobs. Now we are not doing this program anymore. We have something similar, it's called Get Hired.
Okay.
It's the same training for 8 weeks, sorry, 8 hours, and 1 hour of one-on-one coaching. And for like next 6 months, we're gonna provide you job search support in terms of leads. Will connect you with the recruiters or job developers, will help you to find the best opportunities in your field and connect you over there.
Mhm.
After 6 months, if someone didn't land a role, it never happened,
Mhm.
but yeah, still, if someone didn't land a role, we'll give you 100% money back. No hard feelings.
Hmm.
And this 6 month, right, I can say one thing, it's gonna be like life changing experience, because what
I
we saw
bet.
in our
Yeah.
clients, we saw like transformation, right? Like before and after transformation.
Mhm.
We had a one client, right, like who was not able to speak a single line in English. Right now,
Hmm.
if you ask him something, he can be like one of your podcast
Hmm.
speaker as well, within like this span.
Okay.
So it's this is like a life changing experience that we provided over here at Orbit 5. And that's what we are passionate for, right? Like we are not here to help you to get a job, right? Like we are here to help you to change your lives.
Mhm. Has anybody ever come to you and said that, "Hey, I can't wait for 15 weeks. I need the job in 1 week." Has anybody ever came to you and said that?
Not in 1 week, like 4 weeks. Yeah. So I had like this client. She's like, Urvish, like I don't have time, right? Like for 15
Yeah.
weeks, you don't understand my work. I need a work
Board is
permit. I'm on
expiring,
study
etc.,
permit right now,
etc. Yeah.
and I'm just gonna have like 1 year of work permit, and if I waste like 2 more months, I'm not gonna get. I'm not gonna. I'm not able to eligible for my PR. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, we are having this conversation since like 3 months. You should like come to me like at that time, right? uh, I
Yeah.
cannot like, yeah, of course we'll try my best, try to help you to get a job within a month,
Yeah.
but I cannot guarantee because it's 15-week programs, it's a 15-week process.
Hmm.
You need to trust the process.
Yeah, 100% sure. But it does seem like a very incredible, and thank you for giving us like an overview what our listeners, if anybody comes and joins you, they can expect. But where they can connect with you, Urvish, tell us about that.
So LinkedIn is my biggest platform nowadays. It's my new Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who wants to join me, just like look at Urvish Patel
Hmm.
and
Okay.
send me a message, shoot me a message.
Okay. So to all my listeners, all the links to contact Urvish can be found in the show notes as well. So now I wish we're in the final segment of the podcast. I call it Beneath the Accent because we are knowing each other beneath the accent. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. You can answer them in one word or a sentence or however you feel like. The idea is just to know more about Urvish. So ready?
Yep.
So first is classic question. What advice would you give to Urvish who is in the initial months of landing in Canada?
Confident. Be confident.
Is there something you miss about Gujarat?
Dokla.
I'm sure you can get it here also, but not the same, but you can get it here. Is there something you recently bought and you now regret?
Yeah, actually, lot of things.
Okay. Tell us about two.
Let me just tell you one thing about myself, right? I'm a
Hmm.
shopaholic and
Okay.
I love clothes. So if I see
Hmm.
something and if I found it attractive, I'm gonna buy it. I'm a shopaholic and I love clothes. So I recently got this bomber jacket,
Okay.
and then I realized I can only wear like very expensive bomber jacket, right? And then I realized I can only wear this jacket in like only 2 months a year. It was not a great investment.
Okay. Anything else you would like to share?
No, actually, recently I'm
Okay.
still regretting on my bomber jacket.
Okay. So tell me, what is the most expensive thing you own?
My car.
And if I remember, you're also a car aficionado, right? So what car do you have?
I have Lexus ES 350 with V6 engine, 3.5 liter. So it's pretty fast car.
Okay. What is the most expensive thing you would like to own?
Most expensive. Again, car.
If you had to describe yourself as an animal or any creature, what would it be and why?
Horse.
Why would you say horse?
Cause they are hardworking, they are smart, and they don't even like hard work. They smart work.
So, what's next on your bucket list?
So going to Vancouver, I never been there. I wanted to go in
Mhm.
this summer.
So, Urvish, who's your go to person?
Uh, Paul, he was one of the guest speaker in my last week's webinar.
Mhm.
And also ask
Okay.
David.
So, next is there a movie or any series that you like to watch over and over again?
So I'm a big Salman fan, so I really love Hum Dil De
Mm.
Chuke Sanam
Okay.
and Hum
Interesting.
Aapke Hai Kaun.
Hmm. And I also read somewhere that somebody called you like Indian food advocate. so is there, tell me, if you had to eat one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Two dishes actually: butter
Okay.
chicken and pav bhaji.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Now you're making me hungry. Anyways. So describe Canada in one word or a sentence.
Land of opportunities, but you need to know how to grab them.
So on that note, Urvish, thank you so much for being on the podcast and adding value to my listeners. Thank you.
It was my pleasure, Guras's.
Hey listener, thank you for making it to the end. I highly appreciate you listening the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't as yet, and please share with your friends or anybody you think would like it. And like I always say, we encourage you to follow your heart, but also us on Instagram. The handle is mythicaccent. You can also leave us a review or write to us at hello@mythicaccent.com. So stay tuned and let's continue knowing each other beneath the accent.